Dearly redheaded, we are choosing consciousness today to get through this thing called grief. Interesting word, grief. It means love, which makes for a mighty good joke. But I'm here to tell you, there's nothing else. Just joy. And if the big picture tends to bring you down, go crazy once your life goes. Woo!
Come on, Joanne, don't you want to at least try? I mean, come on.
Try to pee? What are you, my mother?
Yeah.
We already started.
Oh, that's fine.
There you go.
Do you know what it was like to live with an elderly person for 13 years who everything was about peeing? Everything. Everything was about peeing. The fact that I can sit here and not have to pee, I'm actually very proud of myself. But, you know, I didn't have my large decaf on the way in, so there you go.
Decaf? What is the point of drinking coffee if it's going to be decaf?
You think this personality needs caffeine? Sugar?
Well,
meat?
I think every personality needs a little. I mean, it just brings a whole new dimension to the personality, I feel like, when you're just a little bit hyped. You're
killing me, Smalls.
I'm just saying.
I do it when I have to do it, but I try to avoid it. The last time I did comedy, and I like to get up at 5 and be in bed by 8. So the nights I do comedy, my whole system is screwed up. And the last time I did comedy, I started drinking Coke, and I'm like, oh my God, you fucking schmuck. You're going on stage wired for
toilet bowl cleaner. That's toilet bowl cleaner. No, you don't drink Coke. That shit's just awful. Just a good cup of coffee with sugar and creamer. Gives you all the necessary things.
I don't drink soda, but out in a club when I was thinking, I always want iced tea, but you can really...
Yeah.
Why is this funny?
Iced tea's up. You don't get iced tea up north unless it's Nestle from a can, right? I mean,
no, I make my own.
You know what's funny is knowing what you know about all the comedians out there in the world and all of their vices, and you're sitting here going, I can't believe I drank a fucking soda before I went on stage.
Yeah, she's not complaining about doing a line of Coke to get through it.
That's because
is that the most ironic thing possible?
I can't do substance. I can't. I do, and well, let's not go there because I don't want to. You know what happened to me when I did THC when Mom died. I got fucking 6 books out of it, but
yeah,
but I'm not doing that again. And I'm weird about substance. I'm weird about what goes in. But I can dissociate on a bag of Swedish fish.
God, Swedish fish.
I'm kidding. I'm not kidding. My brain will take... And when I did cocaine, just so you know, I knew to stay away from it. You ever do coke?
Me? No, I'm a pothead.
Are you really?
Oh, God. Well, I haven't been for years because Rick won't let me, but I'm about ready to hit that train again because I feel like I need to. Maybe I should just not drink the coffee and then I won't need pot.
No, I knew.
Yeah, I just wanted to.
I knew when I was young and did cocaine, I needed to I enjoyed it tremendously, but knew could see the downside.
Oh, Jesus Christ, it's expensive. At least pot I can grow in the backyard.
That's right. If they legalize coke, I may reevaluate it.
Well, I mean, now that might be an option.
Yeah, and I've never done any hallucinogenics or because I have psychedelic experiences on THC. Ain't that great?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I just love my pot. In fact, I sold a house a couple of months ago, and it was a pot house. It was actually a drug house. That's how my client ended up getting it. And there was pot plants in both the crawl space and the attic. And she's a government employee, and she's like, you got to get that shit out of there, Pam. And I'm like, oh, gratefully, happily, and joyfully, I will go get them. but I can't with my real estate license. So I sent my husband in. He brought them to the dump. I about killed them. And he said, no, they had mold on them. They'll make you sick. And I'm like, are you sure? Because, like, I'd love to have 5 pot plants in the house. That just seemed like a really good option for me.
You know, my mother went out on THC.
Well, I mean, as everybody should.
That, you know, I was looking, I know we're not on topic, but I was looking at my website. I've had to update it for the podcast launch and what I promised to talk about. And I have spoken very little about hospice and THC in the elderly. And I can't wait to go there because it was such a incredible experience for her. And I was just so lucky to, you know, I'm just so glad we did what we did. It was, especially with dementia and Alzheimer's, holy mackerel. And I was astonished at the ignorance around it. You know, there were people that could talk about it, but, you know, they lead the elderly to CBD, and then they lead them to, what's the indica? I'm looking at Brian. Indica versus, I always want to say sativa, but what's the other strain? Do you know what I mean, Pam?
All
right. Well, it's not the sugar substitute. It's the word that sounds like the sugar substitute. And they
so not stevia, but
stevia. So it is.
Like
so it is the. Oh fuck! Let me get out of my head. But the bottom line is they're led towards the more relaxing one versus the more stimulating one, and we found the more stimulating one to be better because it essentially stimulated her brain. It was amazing. It was amazing. I wish I had taken more video, but I'm going to have to rely on memory, and I will when the time comes. It's that time is still very hard for me, but I'll get there.
I would imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, but you get to have the hard time because you had the good time. I mean,
oh my God, I know that. And around the hard time, a lot of good came out of it.
Yeah.
Which I have. That falls under Laugh So I Don't Die, my love letter to myself, the book I'm writing. Did I tell you about that?
You did.
All
you
right.
did.
All
And that's the best saying ever. Laugh so you don't die. Yeah. I mean.
Yeah.
Well, they say laughter and crying are so close on the emotional spectrum. They're just one step away from each other. That's probably why some people, like when I'm angry, I crack up. Like I start laughing. It's like if I'm laughing, you might want to step back because I might burst into flames.
I have had 2 memorable experiences with laughter that were totally uncontrollable based on trauma. And the last one was the one that made me, you know, just really realize how important it is to make things aren't funny because of that release. And that doesn't mean it's funny to everybody, but for yourself, getting to that point is just. I'll fucking tell the story. You want to hear it?
Sure. Let's have it.
All right. And Brian, I hope this translates. And I hope I haven't told it because I don't want to bore anybody. But I had an aide working for me, and I knew one of the women my ex had a relationship with. Do you remember this story, Brian?
Is this the one with your brother?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. This is oh, what the fuck? If I'm repeating it, I'm repeating it.
Who
so anyway,
cares?
I know it's.
I haven't heard it.
There you go. There you go.
You're not repeating it to me. It's all fresh.
It's the 5th episode of the week. We're off the rails. It's fine.
Yeah, I really. So anyway, and I'm going to be careful when I tell it, but so I had this woman working for me, caring for my mother, and she lived on a road where I knew my ex had a relationship with a person on that same road. And for shits and giggles, they said, hey, you know such and such, you with me? So far, you with me, Pam? I asked the aide if she knew this person.
Uh-oh.
And the aide says, yeah, she was having an affair on her husband. So I find a picture of my ex. I said, was this the guy? And she looked at me and she goes, yeah. And she filled in dots that I never would have learned. Time of year, how often,
Wow.
oh my God, he was there twice a week. It was during the summer when he told me about it. It was during the winter, and it, just details I never would have learned had I not divulged this to her. And I started to laugh. I mean, because it meant he was missing 2 days of work when I was slaving away trying to support everybody. It meant, the things that it meant. Oh my God, I could not stop laughing. I'm talking a half an hour. It was really laughing when something wasn't funny, but it was my reaction.
I could totally relate to that. Yep, 100%.
Now, I've had that with crying and scream. You ever scream, cry, and vomit? I've screamed, cried, and vomited simultaneously.
Well, no, I can say I've not done that. I mean, scream cry, yes. The vomit part, not so much, because I will do anything to not vomit. Absolutely. Yeah, I will have had a 6-pack of beer, and I will do anything not to throw up. No.
Yes, I'm with you. I go to the
Which
shower.
is why I prefer to be a pothead, because I ain't doing no throwing up with pothead. Yeah, getting drunk, that shit just comes back around every time.
When I drank, I never got to the point of being drunk or having to get sick, because I can't get sick. I go to the shower when I get sick, and I unfortunately taught my kids that one. I'm not cleaning it up. Go to the shower. do the best you can, man, because I can't help you. All right,
Yeah.
so that was a fun little deviance there.
Deviants. That's us. Deviants. We're deviants.
Oh yeah, that too.
Just saying. Yeah.
And I looked, and you're 4.5 hours away.
From being a deviant?
No, physical fucking distance.
Okay.
Just as an aside, we could catch up on the phone, but fuck it, we're here. All right, so, estrangement. Estrangement is on the rise. It's something I said earlier that I think men have faced for years, but I want to say for obvious reasons, but it's not so obvious. But they just take it. I've met so many men that just take it that they don't have a relationship with their kids, and the myriad ways they got there. I think now that women are speaking out about what you and I are speaking out on, our trauma, the estrangement is on the rise because, for obvious reasons, it's affecting the generations below us. So it's a catch-22 to tell your story and then realize it could cause further estrangement. It's horrible. And we basically touched on it. I was thinking this morning, I very often write notes and then I go take a shower, and then when I think about it in the shower is better than the notes I take. I was thinking this morning that Me Too brought out physical and sexual abuse, and then the lesser discussed covert abuses, emotional and psychological, which are always accompany physical and sexual abuse, are coming out. So meaning those who didn't have physical and sexual abuse are feeling they want to discuss the more covert types of abuse. I am trying to, I have, knock on wood, although I think it's laminated. I have 3 doctors scheduled: a neurologist, a psychologist who is familiar with CPTSD, and then a doctor from England that's going to come on to try and give more credibility is not the word I mean, but it's close enough to our brains are being altered by abuse, especially the covert kinds. There's a doctor in New York, Dr. Amen, who offers brain scans, and I watched a TED Talk that he did many years ago, and it showed varying stressors on the brain and what it does to the brain, but we're not quite, in my opinion, making enough connections about how that affects dissociation and the many years that people live with a myriad of things, whether it's anxiety or depression or OCD or the neurological conditions that come out of brain alterations. I talked to somebody a couple weeks ago, and we basically know that our traumatic backgrounds, influenced our OCD and our CPTSD. It wasn't like it happened spontaneously. There was a history and a brain history that fortified our propensity for these things to develop. You and I today pretty much learned that we were indoctrinated into abuse. We ended up doing the wrong thing, trying to do the right thing. And I think that's very, very important for our younger generations to give us a little slack on. And I hope that by learning, today's psychology really points to the parents a lot versus multi-generations of what the parents have been through. Parents should know better. It's not that I disagree, but there's a lot of factors. And in my case, I point to my siblings and just really wish them all well. But my parents I got the best set of parents because I was the youngest and the mistake child. So I don't doubt things were tougher for them from the parent perspective, but it wasn't what happened to me. I also wish, and this may, Pam, if you want to comment. I wrote this down, and this I do want to say. It took me 45 years to say, build your own relationships, but all those people that I've bent over backwards for to get love, to get attention. Turns out they weren't so nice. So I'm going to exit and leave you to carry on. It's dangerous, but it's, in my case, and similarly in your case, all we have, because the relationships have got to be severed. Little segue, and I do the best I can with this wrap up, Pam. So just forgive me. My brain goes all over the place. But just sort of how we commented, and you commented earlier, that narcissism is a fairly new term, and I was onto it like 20 years ago. I tend to think in pictures, patterns, and numbers. So very often as I'm experiencing a pattern and I'm looking for evidence of it, I can't find it. And I've come to like that about myself, but it's also maddening. And it doesn't mean other people out there haven't thought about it or aren't with me, but I'm working on finding those people sooner, because it's very helpful to save others grief and time. If I can save my sons a decade or 2 decades of happiness, I feel like I would have done my job. You know what I mean?
At 100%.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. You can follow me, so I appreciate it. But so in looking at this pattern, I thought, well, where were we just a few years ago with estrangement? And I found this very nice, I can't, article titled "How Family Estrangement Echoes Across Generations." And this is just from 22. And in the whole article, which is several pages, she only makes, or he only, who wrote this? Who fucking wrote this? Somebody fucking wrote this. Somebody. One sentence. In case of abuse and violence, cutoffs can be necessary and protective. That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
Can be. Can be. Not will. Okay.
And the rest is devoted to the chaos that it causes and the heartache that it causes and all the stuff that we I don't want to say, is obvious, but yeah. And it reminds me, well, let me just share the synthesis at the end, because and it was a woman. Sorry, Fern. It is a good article, but it's older. Clearly, when estrangement echoes through generations, adults and children don't only lose family members who might play an important role in their lives, they also suffer the lingering pain and consequences of ostracism and isolation. And I would just argue that's the same thing when we disclose our abuse. So I want to just make people feel better that even though estrangement is on the rise and it's rampant, Pam, you must know it's rampant. I've been working on estrangement in my own time for probably, I don't know, at least 2 years, because I saw the writing on the wall for me before it really happened. I knew that was going to be my potential. So when it did happen, as heartbreaking as it was, I was somewhat prepared, if you can be prepared. So what else did I write to myself? Let me just read a second. This is live and I just need a second. Oh, and this is for you, Pam. And I try to personalize. Every time I talk to somebody, I try to personalize it a little bit, and to learn not to blame my mistreaters, but to forgive myself for what I didn't know, couldn't know, and what generations of people have fought, flown, fawned, or freezed over. Are you familiar with fight, flight?
Fight or flight? Yeah, oh God, yeah. I'm a horse trainer. I'm a horse trainer. Fight or flight is a huge thing. Yep.
There's also fawn or freeze now, which became more applicable to our behavior when, especially when we're dealing with covert issues. Fight or flight are sort of more in your face. Fawn or freeze are more of reactive tendencies. We learned how the role of abuse is just tolerably tolerated.
Yeah.
God, these are great notes. It really sucks that my brain can't take in all that I write and relay it to you guys. Oh gosh, these are great notes.
Well, I think that was a better sentiment than the article that you referenced. I'm not fond of that article for just the little bits that you've told me from my own personal experience.
Well, and I hope, and I think it did, but I'll say it again. My hope is just to let you know that you were on the front end of this. Even though people have been estranged for years and it's affected multi-generations, we really are only just making it, like you said, less embarrassing. And why? Because we get to tell our stories finally, and not, the goal isn't to hurt our children. The goal is to say, I don't want to have a heart disease. I don't want cancer. I don't want dementia. Dissociation directly affects dementia. And men have dementia, women have more dementia. It's only reasonable to think because of what we have to wrap our fucking brains around.
Endure. It's because of what we have to endure, I feel like.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, this was important. And I kind of said it early, but I want to re-edit. I actually, when I faced myself and I faced what I needed to face, which I couldn't fully face until I had my incident where I fully, powerfully faced my unconscious. I couldn't fully feel. And then once you're able to fully feel, and then you have to face the judgment. And that for me has been tougher, not tougher that it's going to take me 67 years to get over it, but tougher than actually the unloading of my unconscious because I was harboring so much. And now things that make me angry or disappointed, or I am so grateful that they don't have to be unconscious anymore. They can be conscious. I know what I'm fucking angry about. Ask me. And I don't mean literally that I want to talk about what makes me angry, but I know I can tell myself that I am angry about this.
Yeah.
I deserve to be angry. I there's a lot
How
of
about
anger.
you're allowed to be angry.
Yeah, I don't feel the need to go to the people that made me angry and share it anymore. I'm
Nope.
like, well, and that is really different from the harboring of it, and just I hope that made sense because it's a big deal. What else do I want to say to you? This, again, I often repeat myself, but I'm starting to give less and less a shit about it. Just that both, whether it's aspects of narcissism or dissociation, there are levels that are conscious and there's levels that are unconscious. You just can't, it's up to us to determine, what our personal journey is. There's an irony. Are you familiar with Carl Jung at all?
I've not much. I mean, I've heard of him. I've read little bits and pieces, but I'm not like a expert or follower.
He often, very often, psychologists will call themselves Jungian, or they'll refer mostly to his dream work. And there's just so much more to the guy, so much more. And one thing is, for several years, he allowed himself to be a little, I don't want to say unhinged like it's a negative thing, but he allowed himself to go to places and explore and write about the experiences that he was having, that he subsequently tabled, but used those experiences to then write about things that were more grounded. So whatever he experienced that was a little unhinged, he then tabled and then wrote about things where they could be more applicable to modern day psychology. But it cracks me up that we know there was this guy who did all this great work that allowed himself to become a little unhinged so that he could teach. You with me?
Yeah.
But
That makes sense.
But today we don't value that. Like, we value psychology stuck in this old cycle that is funded by us being stuck. It astonishes me that these people that consider themselves Jungian can't say, well, I value the mind that's gone to these myriad places to be able to report back what is well within a healthy brain, not mental illness or I can't talk and think at the same time. It's a hazard. But my point is, by allowing our brains to do what we've done today, it will have a healing effect, because it very quickly puts things in the rear view mirror, but at the same time doesn't discount the long-term effect of what this kind of stuff does to our brains. And he knew that. I'm so sick of people treating the symptoms and not saying, well, why? We should know why.
It's just putting a Band-Aid on it.
Yeah, like most things. And it's just unfortunate because there's just so much that can be resolved. I shouldn't have needed 54 years to realize what dissociation was. And dissociation eclipses narcissism. It eclipses depression. It eclipses so many terms out there if we just figure out who raped us and figure out, and not always a literal rape, mentally, whatever.
Yep.
And then, I just want people to feel better. So, my dear, we're all right. Brian says we're good. I'm a little bit of a rambler at the end, but I do the best I can. All right, I can't thank you enough. I love you. This has been. And I remember when you hit my cousin in the head with the golf club. I really fucking appreciate it. And I'm
glad I can do something special for you.
And that we were playing miniature golf, and you and I were playing with that person, and that person thought high score won, which fucking pissed me off the whole fucking game. But you made it look like an accident. That was the best part.
Oh, now I'm a sociopath.
Hey, best of us are. My dark side is a sociopath. I have no doubt. A sapiosexual sociopath, but you know. All
there
right.
you have it.
There, that's gonna fall flat. Sapiosexuals are brain driven. Brain's our biggest sex organ. You're not responding.
I'm rolling it over like a marble in my mind.
Yeah, I spend a lot of time alone, Pam. Be well. We'll talk soon.
Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you.
Thank you for listening and supporting Natural Born Redhead. If you follow the bouncing balls, please like and subscribe. If you know someone interested in sparing others grief and inciting joy, message me on Facebook or reach out via my website, Natural Born Redhead. J-Ma.